definitely. It's. I mean, you're playing. It's pretty much not just for the state of Oregon. I mean, this state is pretty much divided into who's a Beaver, who's a Duck. So I mean, there's a lot weighing on this game, and we know the importance. I mean, coming into this school being a Beaver, you know the importance of being the Ducks and what that means to the fans, what that means to all Beaver fans out there. So, with this being our last game, we just want to go out there and just try to play to the best of our ability.
Yeah, it's definitely a big game. Like Bodo said, it means a lot to the fans. Like you said, there's definitely a divide between Ducks and Beaver fans, and I remember as a freshman hearing a story that a lady said to Coach Rob, she said, "Doesn't matter if you win any other games, just beat the Ducks." So, I think that speaks volumes to the importance of this game. So, and it'd definitely be nice as seniors to go out, sweeping them in our senior year would be great. So, this is a game that we're gonna, really be getting up for.
Well, they basically said everything I was gonna say, but I didn't know about this rivalry game until I came here because I'm from the East Coast. So, after coming here and hearing on Beaver Nation talking about how important this game is, and then basically they said, one of them, the fans told me, said, you can lose every game, but as long as you beat the Ducks, that's all that matters. So that just tells you right there how important this game is. So for my senior season, I'm just trying to come out strong with the team and just trying to get this win.
I guess you're on a pretty good offensive stretch now. What's really working for you on that end?
Oh man, I just got great teammates who are giving me the ball in positions where they know I can score. Berta was doing a great job of throwing it back to me at the top of the key in the last game for 2 wide open 3-pointers. Hallis Cook is throwing it down to me all the time in the post. Devon's doing a great job of kicking it back out or creating space. So my teammates are just doing a great job of helping me get open, giving me the ball in positions to score, and all of my teammates have been really encouraging and supportive of me shooting the ball more, and really encouraging me to be aggressive on the offensive end.
And when you're playing well and shooting well, how much of it is confidence that just kind of keeps you on that roll?
Yeah, it feels good. You go into a game confident. If you've got a couple of games strung together where you've played well on the offensive end, you feel good about yourself. So you're confident you can go out there and put the ball in the hole.
You guys had a lead when you came out and got the two fouls, and then obviously the deficit grew to 10 by the half. So how frustrating was that for you to kind of have to sit on the bench with the foul trouble in the first half? Oh
yeah, it's extremely frustrating. No one likes to sit on the bench because of fouls. So as a player, it's very frustrating. But it's part of the game. So and then I have trust in my teammates to get the job done. So it wasn't like I was thinking just because I'm on the bench we're going to lose a game or we're going to lose the lead. I have complete faith in Daniel Gomez who comes in for me. So. But yeah, to answer your question, it's frustrating to have to sit out because of fouls.
Would you like the opportunity sometimes in that kind of situation, especially against such a tough opponent, to maybe try and play through 2 fouls, especially when they're kind of on the run?
That's a difficult spot to be in. As a player, you definitely like to think, I wish I could be out there, and I want to be out there with 2 fouls. But I think it's a smart from a coaching standpoint to sit me with 2 fouls, because if I get my third, that puts us even it's even tighter situation. 3 fouls in the first half, and and at one point in that game, Coach Rob did throw me back in there with 2 fouls, and it did work out well for us. And so, 2 fouls in the first half, it's a difficult spot to be in from a coaching standpoint with a game so close.
You guys have probably, in your careers here, dealt with some hostile fans, like we saw what happened to Marcus Smart at Oklahoma State. You might have seen those highlights on ESPN. How do you deal with fans when they get really unruly like that? Do you sort of have to check yourself, and are there times when you feel like they're stepping over the line too, and fans need to control themselves a little bit?
That's an interesting question. I think there's a fine line, especially with fans that really. They need to really focus on. The guy at Texas Tech, for him to say something, the team was there. I think Marcus Smart's team was down 2 with 6 seconds left, so the guy had to say something in order for him to react that way and to put his team and jeopardize that win, because the game was still within reach. they're only 2 points down with 6.4 seconds or something like that left. So I think fans just need to be fans. And the Oregon-Arizona State incident, I mean, I think things like that where you got fans spitting on players and stuff like that, that's just something that shouldn't be tolerated. And I think, you know, the school should be punished a lot more for that. I think once that happens, I think then overall we'll be able to the guys will go out there, they'll be able to cheer, take it to a certain extent, but not take it past where things become racial, things can hurt people and stuff like that. So you definitely never want to be in a position where you're retaliating against somebody or pushing somebody in the stands. But I mean, it's hard, especially when these guys are kids, man. These guys are young kids, and you got these grown adults getting to scream whatever they want at them, whether it's racial, whether it's hurtful. And there definitely has to be a line that needs to be drawn.
How do you, as a player, deal with getting stuff yelled at you? Not that they would yell at bad stuff that happened with Marcus Smart right there, but sure, people yell stuff at you all the time.
Oh,
How
yeah.
do you handle it?
I mean, when I first got here, I remember Utah. I think it was Utah. Oh, no, it was Montana. It was like my second game back or something like that. And one of the guys in the stands was saying something about my dad. And I was just like, man, I remember exactly where he was. He was like 2 rows back right behind the basket. And it's just like, man, it was extremely frustrating because, you know, there's some things that don't need to be said. I mean, it's great to be a fan. It's great to cheer against other people and to have, you know, dirt on them maybe, but not to take it past a specific point. And this guy was just yelling some crazy stuff. And even at when Joe Burton was here, we played, I think it was Utah. People were saying stuff about Native Americans and stuff like that. And I think that's where you're just, like I said, the line needs to be drawn. I mean, there has to come a point where you're more focused on cheering for your team rather than trying to bash the other person. And you just have to maintain your cool. I mean, one of my teammates came up to me. He heard when I was shooting free throws, and they came to me and said, "Hey, man, don't worry about that. That's just let fans be fans, and you just let that motivate you." And that's something that I did. But it's kind of hard, especially that Marcus Smart situation where the guy's right next to you. It's in the heat of the moment. He's screaming probably racial things at him. I mean, I've heard different stuff, but it's definitely hard, especially as a kid, to try to keep your cool.
Devon or Angus, do you have anything on that? I mean, how you deal with when you hear stuff, or do you? Or?
Yeah, I mean, during you know the heat of play or whatever, you usually don't hear what's going on. But you know, in timeouts when the crowd's a little quieter, you can definitely hear things that people are saying. During free throws, you can hear what people are saying. So, I mean, for me, I just try to put up a wall between myself and the crowd, and just don't let anything they say affect me. And I kind of have the try and just understand that, you know, when people are saying stuff like that, it's kind of, you know, they've got that mob mentality. They're in a crowd. You know, they're not going to say that to my face if it was just us. So, and I mean, like Bodo said, there's definitely a line that needs to be drawn. You know, I mean, I've had stuff yelled out about me about being Australian. This year I had things yelled out to me at Utah that were pretty derogatory. So, and I mean, you just try and brush that aside and not let it affect you. And you know, at the end of the day, if people want to yell that out and you know, make it public that they're saying that, you know, they're still putting themselves out there in front of how many thousands of people that are around them. So they're still putting themselves out there as the type of person that they are to say things like that. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if people want to say things like that, then that really just speaks to who they are as people. And I think the majority of people around them would recognize who they are as people. And I think, you know, by not reacting, it makes us the bigger people, really.
Devon, anything on that?
Well, it's different for me because me coming from New York, I grew up with this with people yelling stuff at you and always trying to like get under your skin. So I just basically singled them out. And one of these games, one of the adult fans stuck up the middle finger at me, but I didn't pay it any mind. I actually forgot about it, but since y'all bringing it up, it just came back to my head. But that just shows that I don't really pay mind to the nonsense that people do, because I grew up around it my whole life, so I'm able to know how to deal with the situation and stuff like that.
And also kind of what Devon's saying, I mean, he's grown up in that, so each person, you may say the same thing to each person, and each person can be affected differently from it. I mean, you don't know, especially with not knowing the background of some people. I mean, it's definitely tough. So everybody will have their own reaction. And I'm not saying Marcus Smart was right for that. He definitely was wrong for pushing the fan, but you never. In the heat of the moment, you never really know. Everybody acts different. Everybody has stuff in their past that may be different from others. So I think it's on a case to case.
Angus, you hit some timely threes this past weekend. So you feel like that is kind of part of your game is kind of coming back. And Robinson said a few weeks ago that was kind of the last aspect.
Yeah. So I mean that was definitely the last part of my game that I felt like needed to come back. I'd been struggling from behind the 3-point lane up until this weekend. So it was something that, that was one of the things that my teammates were really pushing me to shoot more. That, Berto was always in my ear constantly this past couple of weeks saying, man, you got to shoot the ball. You're a good shooter. You just got to shoot the ball. Devon also, all my teammates. And, that's one of the best things about my team. We all trust each other. We all know what our strengths are. And, everyone pushes each other to play to their strength. And that's what my teammates have been doing for me the last couple of weeks. And, that's what gave me the confidence to shoot at the overtime at Arizona State, and the 2 shots at Arizona also. So, it feels good that they went in there.
Roberto, you had a couple off shooting games the last 3. How much does that kind of motivate you to get going again?
It motivates me a lot. I mean, I'm probably gonna go get some shots up after this, but I just wanna. I gotta take my game to the next level. I mean, these teams are preparing really well. I mean, they've been watching a lot of tape and trying to force me into positions where it makes it tough. And I mean, with the Angus banking shots, Devon being served down low and being aggressive and getting and ones and making all those free throws and stuff like that. I think I just gotta go watch the tape and just find other ways to score. I think I've been driving a lot, trying to get contact, hoping to get contact, and getting contacts a lot of the time too. But I just got to make sure that I'm taking easier shots and trying to pick my spots on the floor a little bit better where I can be successful. So I think it's just something to just go back to the game. I mean, as a player, you're always adjusting, and Coach Rob he'll have some stuff for me, as well as I'll go out there and check out the tape for myself as well.
And have you seen teams do some different things against you the last couple games?
Yeah. Each game it's been different. I mean, UCLA. I mean, starting off with UCLA, I mean they're in that zone, and they kind of had a guy on me every time. I mean, anytime I ran down the floor, they were right there. Arizona State, they put their big guy, one of their bigger, stronger defenders on me. That was fine, but they always had Buczynski. They always put Buczynski on the same side as me, so they would kind of ice me and make me drive to the baseline and have Buczynski standing right there, who's a really good shot blocker and a guy who can contest. And then with Arizona, they had Nick Johnson as well, and they would also try to do the same thing as Arizona State. So I think they're focusing a lot more on me, but I mean that's totally fine, because when I got guys like these two on my left, I can just dish it to them all day, and they'll start banging shots, and then it just opens everything up for everybody. So it's great to have a team like this who we have so many weapons, and who I can just dish it down to, and just know that they'll be aggressive and they'll score. So I mean, if they want to keep trying to put 2 guys on me, then these guys will definitely easily knock down some key shots.
What happened then in the second half against Arizona State? I mean, were you looking for your shot as much then? Did you find it, or were you just a sense of urgency and you're like, oh, it's there?
No, actually, that game, I don't know, man. I think his name was Machisic or something. I don't know. The guy who was guarding me, he was just talking to me the whole game, and Coach was saying, I mean, they're putting extra pressure and stuff on you. You might have to be a decoy for the game. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I was trying to dish it and stuff like that. And I remember I told the ref, because every time I was cutting, he was holding me. He was getting close and holding my jersey. I'm like, ref, can you watch that? The ref told him, and he was like, yeah, I would complain to the refs if I only had 2 points too. So I'm like, all right. I was like, okay, man. I was like, so that got me a lot more motivated. I mean, that gave me some extra juice going out there and playing. And he's a really good guy too. I mean, talking to him after the game and stuff like that. I mean, he's a really good guy. And he's a competitor. So I mean, it was just 2 guys competing, and I just took on the challenge. And my teammates were telling me, hey man, you got to be more aggressive. You got to go out there and play harder and stuff like that. So that's something that I took in, and I did in the second half.
So what you're saying is if you're defending, you don't talk trash?
No, don't talk trash. Cause I feel like I don't know. It's
He's a nice guy on the court. You always see him helping people up and stuff like that. He's the peacemaker.
Yeah.
So we need somebody to talk trash to him so he can get going. I always tell him that.
don't challenge. Then when they challenge me, then that's when I feel like I just take it to another level. I don't know. That's just how I've been. I mean, even my dad. I'm playing when I was a little kid with my dad and beating him for the first time. I mean, he used to talk so much trash to me. He used to foul me all the time. And that used to make me, even when I fell down, it make me want to get up even more and get up quicker and just get the ball and try to take it right at him. So, I mean, I'm just that kind of guy. You challenge me, and I'm gonna find a way. If it's not working, then I'll find a way to try to get it done.
Was the guy making you mad? Was he making you laugh? Did you feel like you wanted to engage back when he was trash talking you?
No, I mean it's a battle out there, man. It's you're going against you're going. It's just a trash talking battle. So the funny part was we kept going back and forth at it. He was talking to me, and I was talking to him. And then in the second half, towards the end, they took him off me, and I was like, when I was shooting free throws, and I was actually talking to him like, hey man. They put another guy on. How come you're not guarding me anymore? Are you tired and stuff like that? And he was laughing. It's just fun. I mean, that's part of the game. It's really part of the game. I mean, there's a part to trash talking where it can benefit you and stuff like that. But you never want to be a guy who's just consistently just talking just to talk and just being reckless out there. So it was just a little battle, and we're friends too. So I mean, it's fun. I mean, to get challenged and to do it. I mean, a lot of players love that, and it's always fun.
Does the Civil War have any more or less of that kind of stuff going on? Is there more of it, or is it in that respect like any other Pac-12 game?
You know, the part about Oregon, those guys have a lot of class. I mean, I really do like their players. I really do. I mean, Damian Dotson's one of my good friends. Jonathan Lloyd, I mean, he's another one of my good friends. And I mean, those guys, they don't do too much trash talking. I mean, being a rival school, you would think that they're the biggest trash talkers. And even with my whole time being here, like all the other Oregon schools, I mean, I think maybe Tony Woods was probably the only guy who really said stuff. But I think with all the teams that I played, I probably think Arizona has the team that probably talks the most. Maybe not so much this year, but in previous years. Yeah, not this year. Definitely not this year. But the last year. With their point guard, he was talking a lot. And like I said, it's always fun. It's fun. Oregon, not so much, but you know the stakes that you're playing for.
I was actually reading the Arizona State student paper last week before your game, and Jahi Carson was quoted in it as saying the key to stopping you was getting inside your head by talking to you. So maybe that's why he talks so much. So you're saying that strategy doesn't work? No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. If he hadn't said anything, I probably would just had 6 points, maybe like 7 assists or something like that. Then he started talking, and then they kept trying to force me into the screen. And I feel like I just had a little extra. I don't know. It's just a challenge, man. It's like playing any game. Somebody starts talking to you, you want to beat them out. You don't want to just stand back and just let them keep talking, let them get into your head. So. Do you talk when you're coaching your Iron basketball team?
Oh yeah. My roommate Jacob Biviano last night, I gave him carte blanche. I told him he had it. So he went out there. He took his first three and he made it all net. And then he took his second three, and it was probably one of the worst air balls I've ever seen. So I had to pull him out real quick and let him know that his card got revoked. So it's fun though. It's really fun. I mean, having the managers out there and then kind of switching roles, you're kind of being there, like helping them out, stuff like that, coaching them. It's so much fun, man. I'm dressed up trying to be like a coach, and Coach Rob was there. It's just so much fun, man. It's really fun.
Does Bertolato have game?
Oh, Bertolato, he does. He doesn't shoot. I told him, I said, hey, man, you can shoot. You play hard, you play defense, but Jacob Bertolato, he comes off the bench. He actually started last night, but he comes off the bench. He doesn't want to shoot. I'm like, man, you're wide open, shoot it. But I think I need to change my approach a little bit, because I was telling the guys to shoot too much, and we're down by 3. Actually, I took my first loss last night. We're down by 3 with about a minute left. We get a steal, and our guy had the whole lane. He could have just drove in and took an easy layup, not contested or anything. He pulls up for a 3 and airballs it. So
Didn't follow the game plan.
yeah, he didn't follow the game plan at all. So he actually got subbed out right after that too. So it's fun. They're running the 1-3-1 and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Did Coach Robinson critique your coaching?
Yeah, he said I need some seasoning. He said I need some seasoning, but I'll be good. So.
I'm surprised it wasn't in your ear the whole time.
Oh man, yeah, that's well, yeah. I'm surprised too, because coach's favorite thing to say is, when I get my team, he's gonna come to my practice, even if he has a cane, he's gonna be banging on the floor, interrupting my practice and stuff like that. So it was fun. It was fun to have him there watching, having Mike Parker back there watching, just a few other people watching. It's fun.
Do you have any assistants?
I do. Brett Martin is one of my assistants, as well as Daniel Gomez. So they only give me one timeout a half, which I wish I had two, but they're telling me, hey man, you gotta switch to zone and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
About this actual game, matchup with the Ducks, you guys have a big size advantage. Angus and Devon, when you go out there from that first game, you're matching up with them. Do you feel that you guys have an advantage in the post against their bigs?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we have bigger teams than them, and we always try to go down low in the beginning of the game, go down to Angus to see how he's being guarded, and if they fail to do so, we just keep throwing it down to Angus, and he just keep going to work. So size advantage does play a huge role in this game.
Yeah, definitely. You know, they throw down to me, and then we've got some really good plays that get Devon wide open down low and isolate him in the post, and he lets him just go to work. So it's definitely a big size advantage and something that we can take advantage of, and it was something that we took advantage of last game and helped us get the win.
Roberto, you guys shut down their guards defensively. I think Young, Dotson, Artis, Lloyd all were in single digits. What was the key to keeping those guys in check?
Well, I was just trying to be aggressive on defense. I mean, we got great shot blockers in the paint as well with these guys, with Eric Moreland in that as well. But I think we just focused on trying to shut down Joseph Young. And I think at that time, he was having a rough time. I think maybe the game before he hadn't played well either, but he's really starting to pick it up now. So it's going to be tough to try to contain somebody who has a lot of confidence going into this game. But Coach Rob and the other coaching staff, they'll provide a game plan that would allow us to try to make life a little harder than normal.
Craig compared him to you in the sense that you guys can just go off. He had 29 in the second half. You had a huge second half and overtime against ASU. Do you, when guarding him, do you take a little bit of what knowing how you play into how to stop him?
Yes and no. I mean, we're kind of similar in the fact that we can score, but I think he scores. I guess we're pretty similar, I guess, but I mean, you just gotta make it hard for him. I mean, contest shots as much as possible and not leave him open. I mean, if you leave him open, he gets one or two open shots, he bangs those. That's 6 points, and then that 6 points can turn into 14 really quick if you're not careful. So with a guy like that, you just gotta make sure you're on him each time and never leave him open. Even if he's down the floor, you got to make sure you sprint down the floor and get close to him as possible. So that's something that we're going to focus on and try to limit their transition buckets. I think that's what we did last game, and I know they're gonna try to be getting a lot of transition buckets in the next game.
What would a sweep over your arch rivals in your senior year mean to you guys?
Yeah, it'd be huge. I touched on it earlier as well. It's the last time you get to play him in college. Your college career is only you're only in college for so long. So if we can go out sweeping them, that'd be awesome. It'd be a great way to look back and say, my senior year we swept the Ducks, and then especially I think we all feel that we owe them a little bit. Over the last couple of years, they've gotten us more than we've gotten them. So we definitely want to try and even the tally a little bit.
Roberto, you've gotten to guard some of the other team's best players in recent weeks. I mean, Nick Johnson, you spent time on Jermaine Marshall, Jordan Adams. So defensively, is that kind of something you felt you've gotten a lot better at maybe in recent years or recently?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what I talked to Coach about was if I'm put on a guy who really doesn't take too many shots and who's not really doing anything that much throughout the game, it kind of, I don't know, I feel like I just kind of get I just play a little lackadaisical, and playing a guy like that where I'm always on my toes, where I'm always having to move my feet, where I'm always engaged in the game, it really helps me play throughout the game. So I think, playing guys like Jordan Adams and Nick Johnson Marshall from Arizona State. I mean, it really helps me, and I think it helps me out offensively because I'm always on my toes. I'm always ready to play, and it's really a competitive thing for me. I mean, I want to guard these guys as well too. I mean, they want to guard me. I want to guard them. We want to shut each other down. So that's something that I've really been focusing on and just trying to do throughout the game.
Have you heard much outside criticism about your defense in the past? I know you at least pay somewhat attention to kind of prospect boards and that kind of stuff. So,
Wait, can you ask the question again?
have you heard much outside criticism about kind of your defensive ability in the past?
No, I mean,
Whether it be from fans or scouts or anything like that?
I mean, maybe earlier in my career, but I haven't really heard anything as of recent. I mean, not that I know of. I mean, people aren't really saying he's this, he's that. I mean, they're not saying he's a bad or he's good. I mean, so I really haven't heard much about it. And I'm just trying to go out there and try to stop these guys, and maybe hopefully somebody notices and they respect it.